to me, there's three things. The first thing is you have to take a look at your daily routine, what you're doing every day. That is so critical and so important to making anything happen. The other thing you have to do is you have to know where you've come from. Now, we don't ever want to dwell in the past. Yesterday's gone, it's never coming back. You can't change a thing. But what you can do is you can learn from it, right? And so that's why we take a peek looking backwards. And then we make our plan for the future. So to me, like I said, it's a threefold process. When I did this workshop, it turned out to be hours long. And I know none of you want to stay here tonight until midnight with me, and so I am going to give you the top of the waves. But these are the things that I have a lot of passion for, that I have put into place in my own life. And because I have done those things and have experience with it, I can share it with you because I've gotten some success under my belt throughout my life. And it was these things that I used that helped me get to where I am now. And I want to share them with you so that you can also make them your own, kind of the American Idol part of life in general. You get information, you bring it in, and you take it on, but then you share it with others. And so I have brought in information, I've taken it on, and now I want to share it with you to help you as well. So we're going to take a look at our daily routine. We're going to just take a quick peek back, and then we're going to plan for our future. Now, it was mentioned I'm part of the John Maxwell team, and that was a long-time goal of mine, that something that came to fruition for me, that I'm honored to carry his name. And I'm curious to know, of the audience here, I know a few of you do know who John Maxwell is. Can you kind of just like give me a quick high five of who knows who John Maxwell is? Oh, beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Yay. Well, that is like unbelievable to me because I really didn't think that many people maybe knew who he was, and that speaks volume to who you are. And those that don't know who he is or have never heard of him, just let me say this about that. He has the #1 book on leadership. He is a man that was considered to be the president of the United States, or at least run for the president of the United States this year, because there were a lot of people who did not want to vote for either Mr. Trump or Ms. Clinton. So they had come together and offered him an opportunity to run for president. Now what that says to me is this man is a great leader, because you don't get chosen for things like that. You don't have people approach you for things like that unless you know what you're doing. He knows leadership, and he teaches leadership, and he also teaches personal growth. I met him many years ago in my 30s. Probably, I know a lot of you guys are about that age now, but it was 30 some odd years ago that I met him as my pastor. And we all fell in love with him immediately and knew that he was going great places. But when I knew him, he was just our pastor, and it was just a beautiful thing. I mean, my dad traveled with him, and so he was like just kind of John. And so he's still like that, though. That's what's beautiful about him. If he were here right now, he'd say, "I'm John, I'm your friend." And he has that kind of approach. And I'm here today to tell you that because I've known him for so long, and because I believed in what he did for so long, that it's become a part of me. And so I'm just me, I'm just Lori, and I'm your friend too. And I wanna provoke you tonight to do just a couple of things that might do something different in your life and make it a whole lot better. That's my passion, that's my desire for you this evening. So John's leadership philosophy is fourfold. #1, everything rises and falls on leadership. #2, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. The highest form of leadership is self-leadership. And the greatest purpose of leadership is to add value to others. And my goal tonight is simply that. I just want to add value to you. So, John has written approximately 110 books. I have read a lot of them, but I confess right now I've not read all 110. He has a new book coming out on capacity in March. You can get it on Amazon pre-ordered right now. It's going to be a phenomenal book. If you buy no other book this year, buy that book. But if you were to want to explore which book might be the best book for you where you are right now today, my offer to you, my number one offer is put on your rating sheet that you would like to talk to me about what book you should look at for your own personal growth. Because, like I said, our daily exercise, our daily routine makes us who we are. And so, to me, one of the most important things you can do is be looking at books. They don't have to be John Maxwell books. They can be a lot of different books. But you want to pick books that are going to really speak to you and that you can put into your own life. So John says that you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. So let me ask, do you have a daily routine of personal growth? Some people do and some people don't. And some people wouldn't even know where to start, to tell you the truth. And a few years back, I didn't know where to start. So I had to do some research. I read some of John's things. I listened to some of the things that he had said. And lo and behold, I realized that I had a daily routine and I didn't even know that's what it was. So it was kind of a cool thing. I thought, well, hey, at least I'm doing something right? But I had to evolve in my daily routine. And I've done that over a period of time. The million-dollar question is, if you don't have a daily routine, are you willing to start one? Because looking back at Pastor Maxwell, I still have to call him that, I'm sorry, but when I look back at him, I see where he went from just being our little pastor to being a billionaire. To being a billionaire and speaking all over the world. And when he says to me, the way he got there was his daily routine, that speaks volumes. So I know that if we want to be a better us in 2017, it speaks a lot to our daily routine. So what I can tell you about my daily routine, I want to let you know what I do every morning. Now, you don't have to do a daily routine in the morning. You can do it when it's the best time for you to do it. For me, it is in the morning because I'm freshest and I'm most receptive in the morning. And the reason why I say that is because part of your daily routine, you have to be receptive to what you're doing. And so I'm going to let you know what I do every morning, but that doesn't mean that that's what you should do. But what I do want to offer is that it's an example of things you can do. So every morning I get up and I study. I study a few things. I'm a woman of faith, let me just say that right off the get-go. When I talk about me, that goes hand in hand with who I am, and I can't take it out. But for me, my owner's manual, like if you buy a new car, for example, and you don't know what gizmo is going on the dash or something, you're going to grab the owner's manual, right? So for me, my owner's manual is the Bible, and the best way I know to learn more about me and life in general is to check out the Bible. So I read the Bible every morning. And this is a daily discipline that I have chosen to make part of my life. I don't want to tell you, you have to do that, but find things that are proven through the test of time. Because if you don't, you might be reading things that don't have value. Not to say that there aren't a lot of things that haven't been proven yet. It's just to say that pick some things that have had that test. So what's really funny about thinking about an owner's manual and thinking about a new car, immediately I start smelling that new car smell. Does that happen to anybody else, or is it just me? Right now I can smell it vividly. It's the oddest thing that happens to me. I'll tell you why in a minute. But I was just, nobody else is smelling it. Okay, just making sure here. So I spend time reading. It doesn't have to be very long. You're just going to pick a small section. I read right now I'm reading 3 books. I start with the Bible because I feel like that's where I want to start. The other book I'm reading is a book called The Wealthy Spirit. It's by a lady named Shelley Campbell. She is a marvelous woman and speaks to my heart in such a beautiful way. So I read 1 page of her book every morning. The other thing I'm doing right now is I'm going through a workbook called Think and Grow Rich. Has anybody heard of Think and Grow Rich? Yeah, another book that has passed the test of time. It's passed the test of time because it was written in 1937. Can you imagine? So I'm going through a workbook that's a companion to that book, and I'm learning a lot. And what's funny about it is every time, like I've read that book multiple times. I've even been through this workbook before. But every time I go through it, it's like it's new to me. I hope I don't have early onset Alzheimer's or something, but it's like it's new to me, okay? Oh, anyway. So I do that routine in the morning, and the way I do it is kind of different than how you might think I do it. I don't just read a few pages in each of these books. I do something that some people call soaping. And it sounds like a weird thing. It started with a Bible study that I did. And it's an acrostic, S-O-A-P, so soaping. So S means you take a section of the book. O means you do your observations about that book, what you read about it, or not what you read, but what you know about the book. Who was the author? What audience were they trying to reach? So you want to make a few observations, and then your A is application. So when you're reading something for personal growth or to grow your business or to help somebody else, you want to know what you're going to apply out of that. And so you need to know what the application is. It may be just one little thing that you want to tweak or you want to change or you want to share with someone. So it's S-O-A, and then the P is prayer. And I get that not everybody prays, and that's totally okay. A lot of people do other things. They might meditate. My granddaughter, she's 13, she marinates. I like marinating. And a really good friend of mine who's part of the John Maxwell team, he says he swims in it. And I like that analogy because you want to swim in it for a few minutes. So, S-O-A-P, you're going to swim in it. And I'm writing while I'm doing this. So my soap notes, I've already started out as I started to read. And now comes the most important part. The most important part is the thinking that goes along with this. For me, I call it prayer because I really believe that when I am thinking and when I am meditating, that God has a way of speaking through me and telling me things. And it's not an audible voice, but some people will say it's the Great Spirit or a spirit in general. A lot of people have a different name for it. Their creator, or somehow there's magic there, is all I can say. And so what I do is on my notepad for that day, I just start thinking about what I've been thinking about and what I've read, and ideas come to me, and I'll jot them down. And you don't use grammar, you don't have to worry about it, you don't use sentences, you just write words down. And when you're doing that, ideas come to you, and you'll look at it afterwards and go, oh my goodness, I could do this. And that's where your application comes in, of your golden nugget that you want to take away from whatever it is you're studying. So I'm trying to breeze through. I realize it's late, but I also realize that if we don't do these things, we won't be able to grow in 2017. The other thing I do every morning, I call them my shuns. It's affirmations and visualizations. So I have a stack of affirmations. A lot of people use affirmations. I think that they're very, very valuable. In fact, I think they are so valuable, I can't imagine not doing them. And the reason why I say that is my affirmations tell my subconscious mind the things I need to tell it to make things happen. If I am not telling my subconscious mind things, it doesn't know to make it happen. So right now, I would imagine some of your subconscious minds are telling you that I'm a little crazy, that there's something very wrong with me, that you can't imagine putting a discipline like that in place, that you don't have time to do it. And I get that, because I used to say things like that to myself. But what I realized is it was so much more powerful to look at ways to make things happen that I knew I should make happen. And so that's where my shuns come in. I'm trying not to get too far ahead, but I'm trying to skip some of the things that I know will and won't help you. One of the things I did too is I gave on the tables, I listed some of the affirmations that I use on a daily basis, or that I have used. You can use those if you'd like to get you started, and I'm happy to share those with you. With the affirmations and with that thought that I'm not disciplined to do something, or I could never make that happen, what I can tell you is that it's really important to combat those negative thoughts that come about. I call them limiting beliefs. You've heard of that term, I'm sure. You have to stop the limiting belief and say, I'm worth making this happen. I'm worth investing time in myself to make sure my day goes better. I'm worth all of those things so that I can make my life better, and those around me make their lives better. The weird thing about it is when I don't do this daily routine, things just do not go well. But when I do, everything seems to fit into place. And I don't know if you guys have this happen to you, but I certainly know that it's happening to me. When I looked back at I don't know if you guys had written things down of the things that you wanted to get done in 2016. I had a list of 7 things on my list last January. The biggest of which was to become certified with the John Maxwell team. I accomplished that in August. It's nothing about me to do that. It was just that was my goal, and I was able to get it done. And so all of those things that were on my list I got done, except for one. The one thing that I did not get done on my list, and to tell you the truth, some of them were very outlandish. I couldn't even imagine in January how I would possibly get them done by the end of this year. There was only one thing on my list that I didn't get done, and to tell you the truth, I didn't think I would get it done, because it was more of a long-range goal, but I wanted to make sure I kept it in the forefront of my mind. And so it's just really important that you are always using your affirmations to be able to keep things in the forefront of your mind. So that one thing that I didn't get done is that I really want to live on the ocean. And I get that that's a pretty big goal, if you will, dream, if you will. But when I do that affirmation, all of my affirmations, I do the same way. I go through my cards very slowly, and I think about them. That's not all, though. Your affirmations won't work for you if that's all you're doing. You have to pull in emotion. You have to pull in smell, like the new car smell. You have to pull in every sense you can imagine. So when I am doing my visualizations and my affirmations, and I'm thinking about me living on the ocean, I'm breathing in seawater. I'm listening to the birds in the distance. I can hear those breakers. I feel it, and I'm grateful that that will happen for me someday. It's so important to attract all of those emotions when you're thinking about the things that you want to put into place in your future. Jim Rohn said, either you run your day or your day runs you. Has anybody else found that to be true? If I don't plan my day and look at my plan and work at that plan, oh my goodness, it becomes chaos. So the other part of these routines that we put into place is then look at your plan. Once I get my head straight, my mind in the right place, I look at my plan for the day, and some days I have to tweak it. Some days it just doesn't fit for me for that day, for what's happening. I plan on Sundays for the whole week, and I do look back and see if I missed anything that I didn't get done, oversight. Then I plan ahead for the following week. I have another little tool that I use, and if anybody might be interested in, it's called the 15-minute miracle. It's based on Covey principles of the quadrants of our time, the things that are most important, that kind of thing. And we actually schedule our life in 15-minute increments. And some people might think that's totally ridiculous, but and I did. The first time I tried it, I thought, this is ridiculous. But what I have discovered is it works really well. So I use that tool. If anybody might want that tool, put that on your rating sheet and let me know, and I'd be happy to send it to you. I love YouTube videos. I learn so much on them. It just cracks me up how you can find anything. I even fixed my coffee maker one time by watching a YouTube video. Well, the one that I'm going to tell you about this time really spoke deep into my heart. It was Steve Jobs. He was addressing the graduates from Stanford University. And this was after his diagnosis with cancer, but really he thought he had beat it. So it was interesting to me what he told this class of graduates. He said, live each day like it's your last. Well, that's nothing new. They make country western songs about that, right? Mm-hmm. But I was listening, and I thought, well, what is he going to say? And then he said, because one day it will be. And that's the thing that really hit me. Maybe it hit me because I have more days behind me than I have ahead of me. I don't know, but it hit me. And by the time he said that, I thought, whatever he says, I'm going to really pay attention to, because by now he had my interest. The next thing he said is every morning when he gets up, he looks at his calendar. And if that calendar has things on it that don't line up with his purpose, he cuts them out. And I thought, whoa, that's kind of drastic. I mean, there's things you have to do, right? But he said he just takes them off calendar. And so I've been really trying to embrace that in my life. If I have things on my calendar that don't line up with my purpose, I take them off. Because I only want to do the things that are lined up in my purpose. So everybody has that 24 hours a day, right? And if you sleep 4 hours a day, anybody only sleep 4 hours a day? I don't know about you, I'm a basket case if I only get 4 hours of sleep. So if you kind of boil it down, you might have 10 hours of productive time throughout the day to get things done. So you want to make those the most productive. Even if you have 1 hour, you want to make sure that's the most productive. And there's been days where I only had 1 hour of productive time. But whatever it is, make sure it's lined within your purpose. So when you go looking at your daily routine, you want to make sure that you're putting those things in your daily routine that are really going to benefit you. Then, the next thing in our quest to conquer our goals in 2017 is to take a quick look backwards. And the way I do this is I look throughout my calendar. I also look at my bank statements. I don't know if you know this, but if you look at those two things, you can find out an awful lot about people. Because what you value, you spend your money on, and you spend your time on. And so I take my calendar and I take my bank statement for each month, and I take a look at each one throughout the last 12 months, and I do what I call ACTs. That's action items, accomplishments, any action items that I didn't get done, I will go back and make sure that I get them done. I want to make sure that I capture anything that fell through the cracks. The C's are celebrations. I don't know if you guys are used to celebrating yourself or your accomplishments, but it's an important thing to make sure you put into practice. So if you have missed something along the way, I do this on a monthly basis. I go, well, I mean, sometimes on a daily basis. The day I got my certification with the John Maxwell team, I celebrated that day. But along the way, sometimes you miss those too. So make sure you have celebrated the things and acknowledge the things. Be grateful for the things that you made happen in your life. And then the T, A-C-T, the T stands for tweaks. Anything that you discovered along the way that you need to change. Anything. It could be anything. It might be watch TV a little bit less. It might be watch TV a little bit more. It could be anything that really lines up with who you are and what you need to make accomplish. The other three things you want to look at when looking backwards and also looking forward is the 3 R's. I think I put that on your page. It's what is required of you, because there are things that are required of us. Our children need us. You have to eat. You have to sleep. There's some things required. Some things are the things that give us the greatest return. We always need to make sure that we are doing things lined up with our purpose, like I've already mentioned. And then what gives us the greatest reward? So those tie in together. We have to make an income for ourselves to be self-sufficient. But you also want to do it where you're feeling reward. You don't want to do things that you hate doing. If you're in a job, and I know none of you are, but there are people that are doing jobs that they absolutely hate just to make ends meet. If you are one of those people, find something else. You will blossom and explode if you have passion for what you do. So that's your 3 R's. Mark Twain said, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you figured out why. If you have not figured out why and peeled the layers back to that why to get to the core of it, you really need to look at that. Don't be doing things that are outside your why. It's funny, we were at a networking meeting just last night, and the lady that came that was a guest, she was hilarious. I really loved her energy. It was something that she said that made me think. She said that she's gotten to know people lately by saying, what lights you up? And I loved that. I loved that, but then I got to thinking, maybe you don't want to ask anybody that, because that, in my day, was kind of a terminology that might have gone along with, well, never mind. But I liked it because she was learning a lot about people, about what their passion was, right? And so I really, really liked that. So my question for you tonight is, what lights you up? You really need to know that as you start planning for the next year. It's funny, a lot of people think I am an extrovert and a public speaker. Most people would think that we are, but a lot of us are not. We just have great passion for helping other people. So if you were to ask me, what lights me up? What lights me up is opportunities like this, because I get to share with you the things that really I believe are important in life. And so I loved that question. The thing of it is one thing I do know is you become very, very successful when you do things that you are working within your passion. So what do you guys want for 2017? Do you want financial success? Do you want business growth? Maybe to be healthier, maybe to eat better, exercise more. How about your family relationships? Do you want to enrich those? All of those are the things that you should be planning for when you start looking at what your plans are for next year. So not all examples are financial, but say one of your goals is to make X amount of dollars. You definitely want to look throughout the year, put a number on it. Let's put $10,000. You want to have $10,000 in the bank by next December. You put that in your goals list. And say June, you want to make sure that you're on track. So if you were going to save $2,000 a month, just extreme, but say you did $2,000 a month and you come to June and you haven't saved that, you're going to have to tweak. So when we're doing our planning, we always look at those tweaks that we have to make, because life is never just straightforward. things come along the way and they interrupt sometimes. So you always want to make sure that you're adjusting as you go along. The number one fear for most people is public speaking. And one of the things that I know that I wanted to help people with, and I think I've mentioned it, is a workshop that I'm doing in another few days. If you are interested in that, I never dreamed I'd be part of the John Maxwell team, but a lot of people told me I had some gifts in that, and so I wanted to explore it. So as you explore things, look and make sure that those are the things that you're gifted with. There's a lot of gifting tests online to see what kind of personality you have, to see what kind of gifts you have. Those things can help you determine what your why might be, or what direction you should be going in your life and your career. It's really, really important. When I mentioned tweaking, not that kind, you're adjusting. And I did an acrostic for that too. So you want to take time to take a look. You want to really understand your why. You want to enthusiastically make the change. No guilt. I mean, if you set out to do something and you didn't quite make it, you just want to make sure that you adjust and go on. You don't want to beat yourself up over those things. And then take action and know in your heart that it's a good plan. John was talking about his, he does a lot of speaking to a lot of different groups, and one of them is NASCAR drivers and such. And he mentioned one time that he was talking to Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson told him that when he was early in his career, he was like a pedal to the metal kind of driver. And he realized after a while that he wasn't winning much. And he figured as a race car driver, he should really be winning. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm.
Yeah. And so he realized that that pedal to the metal wasn't working for him. And so he went back and started looking at what he was doing. And he realized that if he's always accelerating, he's missing the mark because he can't get to the finish line. So if he doesn't quite go as fast, then he gets to the finish line and he wins races. So that's what tweaking does for us, is it adjusts where we are, gives us a chance to look back, and then be more successful going forward. I mentioned about John being my mentor. Everybody needs mentors, whether it be John Maxwell or anybody else, but always be looking for people that are where you want to be, that are the people that you can really admire, and find out what they're doing. You can do it in person, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's a book that you're going to read that really made a difference in your life. Those are mentors too. He talks about a man that challenged him many years ago. Kirk Campmeyer was his name, and he told him, you have to have a personal growth plan. So when you plan your 2017, make sure you have that included, because the way I see it, somebody like John Maxwell, who was a pastor 30 years ago, who now is a billionaire and helps millions and millions of people on a daily basis, that's somebody I want to look to see what they're doing. And so he says you have to have a personal growth plan. I believe that to be true. So the little ladies at Costco are always kind of giving you a little bit of a taste of something. So one thing I would like to offer any of you here today is a 1-hour coaching session. We would do it on the phone, but I'll walk you through the coaching process. If that would help you in any way, I want to offer that to you today.
That's awesome.
So offer number one, if you're interested in some of the things that I've talked about, is if you are interested in reading John Maxwell books, if you put your name on the rating sheet, I think I already mentioned, I can talk to you for a few minutes and kind of get a feel for where you are, and I'll match you up with the best book that he has. One of the books and one of the sheets that I gave you is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. If you want to be a leader, that is your go-to book. I gave you the first law, but it's 18 pages long. If you would be interested in the other 18 pages, that gives you kind of the top of the waves view of that book, so you could get in mind the things that you need to know about leadership. Let me know. Make sure that I have your email address, and I'll email that to you. I was going to copy it out, and I thought, I didn't want you fumbling around with a lot of pages, but I wanted to copy the first one, because that one's really important, but it'll remind you that you might want to look further. The other thing that I really want to do this next year on my radar of workshops I want to do, if you might be interested in this, let me know. I want to put a dream binder together. I've had dream boards, and I've had a lot of different things, and there's apps on your phone, and I do a lot of dreaming and goal setting and those kinds of things, but I have this idea. One of those early morning ideas was, I love white binders, so I want to put something together where I dream through my binder, and then when I actually get whatever it is I'm dreaming about and manifesting, if you will, I can put it in the gratitude section, so I can go back and see all of the things that have come about because of my dreaming about them and wanting them to happen. So if you might be interested in that, put a note on your sheet. I might be doing a more in-depth planning. It was hard to get all of the information to you on what I do and how I've reviewed and how I move forward. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. I know the Tonys are talking about doing a monthly workshop. If that's something you're interested in, let me know, because I'm going to be doing it for myself. If that's something that sounds good to you, let me know. I'm also going to be doing a mastermind, what we call in the John Maxwell team a mastermind, where we go through a book. The one I'm going to go through again is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Those were things that John really feels every person needs to really develop within themselves. I'll be doing that too. Let me know. So I just want to leave with this thought. If you don't design your own life, somebody else will. And I can guarantee you, they don't have your best interest at heart in line with who you are. Because only you know what's really in here, and only you can really develop that and grow. And so, plan your own life, design your own life, make it perfect for you. And if you go moving along through life and it isn't quite right, tweak it and get back on track, because I can guarantee you. It's funny, the analogy I think about a lot is, I went to Atlanta, Georgia one time, and the trees were everywhere. I got claustrophobic, there were so many of them. But what it rung true to me was, as you're driving along in life, there's all these trees, and you really can't see very far ahead. But if you have a good daily routine, and if you plan and do all of the things that I've talked about this evening, as you go around the bend, there will be more and more wonderful things happening to you that you will have brought into your life because you designed it. Thank you guys so much.
All right, let's give her a big hand. That was awesome. Lori, she came and she delivered it. And like she said, she does many, many workshops. She coaches business and leadership, personal growth principles. So be sure to connect with her and catch her at her next workshop, which is actually December 10th, Up Your Game. And it will help you deliver a dynamic elevator pitch. So we got to move here quickly. I have one more challenge. And I'd like to get, since we had the two ladies, let's get the challenge and see if the guys could do a little bit better. So could I get two guys to volunteer to come on up here? Or I'm gonna pick. Yes, we got Rager. And we got Cheryl. Give them a hand, guys. They're gonna see if they can beat the girls. Let's see if they can beat the girls and do more than 50. So this challenge is gonna be very similar. I need my timer too, my timer girl. Just let me. It's gonna be very similar. This is gonna be 50 ways to boost your brand. And Mike Rager is gonna be the one checking. Cheryl, you're gonna be the one challenged, okay? I'm not gonna give it to you till the minute starts because you already start calculating all the tips here. So these are gonna be great tips. If you guys can catch them down, like the same thing. If you can get at least a 25, you're getting a prize, buddy. But if you can beat 38, you beat the girls. Yeah. And if you get 50, you're gonna pick whatever you want on the table. Get a present knocked out for the wife already. Does that sound good?
I'll take care of it.
All right. Are we ready? Are we ready? All right. You ready, Mike? You're gonna get a prize too. You're gonna do a great job. You're just checking him.
I gotta read.
Make sure he doesn't skip any. Wait a minute. Yeah, you might have an easy time here. Yeah. He's gonna be like, yeah, he did a great job. He did all 50. All right. Are we ready? All right, guys. Let's cheer him on. Can he beat 38? Can he do 50? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, make a good first impression, be consistent, listen to your customers, design a great logo, represent your business with your brand, always be reliable, establish strong values, be transparent, use a strap line, print your logo anywhere, everywhere, highlight the benefits of your business, establish trust, coverage, convey a clear message, display your brand's colors, become an authority in the field, have a long-term vision, stand out from competitors, educate employees about your brand, grow your brand with your business.
20 seconds.
Define your goals, create a great pitch, be flexible, repeat your message again and again, give great customer service, display your backstory, exceed expectations, offer value.
10 seconds, Cheryl.
Stay in the forefront, be instantly recognizable.
5,
Make your regular
4,
customer be consistent.
3, 2, 1. That's it. Which one did you get to? Right here?
39.
34.
34.
34. Let's give him a hand. Let's give him a hand. All of them. Look at all those great tips you just gave out right there.
All these are cool for you.
Yes. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, bud.
Thank you.
No problem.
Couldn't read those.
So, to move it along here, I hate when we're cramped for time, because then I'm like, All right. You guys liking it so far? You guys getting some good stuff? You're trying to get from different worlds, and now you're going to get from a real big different world right here for this next guy. So, for the next presenter, I'd like to introduce the co-founder of the Mastermind Network and top real estate mastermind and keynote speaker, over 20 years in business as an entrepreneur. He has generated a 6-figure income on a part-time schedule. I tell him every day to become a mastermind coach and start a real estate team. Please give it up for my partner, Mr. Antonio Mendoza.
Where's everybody at? Come on! Where's everybody at? Go! Let's have some fun here. Let's see what everybody's missing out. All right. Next week. All right. I have to take my jacket off. Ready to go. Let's go. Are you able to plug this in?
We are right there.
All right. So while they're setting that up, how's everybody doing?
Hey, yeah.
That's it? Let me ask that again. How is everybody doing? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Are you guys learning a lot of great stuff today?
Oh, yeah.
Social media, then we learned from Lori just right now. Did she do a great job, Lori?
Yeah.
John Maxwell. I've been following John Maxwell for a while, so that's excellent tips there. And of course, if you're not on social media, I mean, come on, right? If you're not watching this right now, come on. Right, so let's give a shout out to Cindy Lemke, Lemke's Livers right there. All right, make sure I'm on still. I'm trying to stall here, guys, but how's everybody? Everybody doing cool?
Cool.
Getting a bathroom break?
Nope.
You guys ready to conquer some goals, make some goals?
Yes.
You guys want to make 2017 the best year ever?
Yes.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. While they're doing this, we'll just go. So the theme of this today was thinking back and moving forward, right? So looking back, I think I talked to my group about a year ago. I said, hey, you know what? When you plan for 2016, think of it as a book, right? You're the author of that book. How do you want that book to end? If you can actually fast forward and go to the end of the book, right? You know the ending of the book because you wrote it. Would you get discouraged at March 15th when things are not going your way? In July 4th, when you know everything around you is falling apart, would you give up, right? If you know what your ending is, right? So that's kind of like what we're looking at for. It doesn't matter what you've accomplished so far. Doesn't matter. And for those people out there who are posting on Facebook how great you are, it doesn't matter. All right? It doesn't matter. What matters now is what you do between now and the next few weeks, few months, few years, right? So with that said, I actually I gave you guys a business strategy plan there. So he took my iPad. So goals. First of all, why do we set goals? Well, we're going to actually open this up a little bit too. Why do we set goals? Thank you.
Because you have to write down what you want to accomplish.
Awesome. Write it down, right? What else? Why do we set goals?
Goals are your end purpose. You know
End
what
purpose.
you're striving for.
Exactly, because if you don't know where you're going, right? How do you know you're there,
So you
right?
can measure.
Measure. Perfect. Excellent. You want to measure if you're on the right track, right?
If you don't have goals, it's just a pipe dream.
If you don't have goals, it's just a pipe dream. Sherry Rager over there, Prime America, guys. So, you know what? We're going to live here because since this is not going on my... It's not sinking in? It's okay. So, goals. Now, let me ask you a question. So, oh, that's a iPhone 7, guys. Sorry.
No, it's only a 6 now.
Never let anybody play with your iPhone 7. All right. We good?
There you go.
Jack Perry, folks. Don't let Jack Perry play with your phones, okay? Good thing I got insurance, guys. Got insurance. It's a write-off, by the way, right? Okay, so what we're saying is, why do we set goals, right? That's what we're here for. You know, 2016 doesn't matter. You know, a lot of people are celebrating right now. But the great thing, just like in sports, you win a championship, what are you doing the next day? You're back in the gym. You're back at it again, right? Because nobody cares. We'll allow you to party. We'll allow you to celebrate your victories. But it's time to move on. Because that's the story of life, right? Is moving forward, right? We could keep looking back in the past. Oh, how great I am, you know, this or that. But nobody cares. I'm sorry for all those people out there. Nobody cares. All right? Nobody cares. It's what we do now. The only person that cares is the person behind. When you go, you know, tonight, look at the mirror. It's you, right? That's all that matters. So, where's my iPad?
I stole it, sorry.
She stole it.
Yeah.
So, with that said, let me ask you a question now. Why do we fail in achieving those goals?
You don't have steps. You need steps towards it.
Steps? Lack of steps?
Plan.
No plan?
Or we get discouraged. when
Get
we
discouraged?
We just forget them.
We just forget them? So what are some of the excuses why we don't achieve those goals? Give me some excuses.
fail. Distractions.
Distractions,
Social media.
social media, distractions, right?
The kids need something every 5 minutes.
The kids, right? Kids, we got to blame the kids, right? Tony Reyes? Thank you, Jack. There, somebody hold this, John. What you holding? All right, guys, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Everybody still online, Facebook? Hey, now you're watching, right? Now you're watching, right? Is it on? I don't know. All right.
A lot of bloopers in this event, guys.
There you go. Hold on. Are we still live? Am I still live?
No, you're live.
Am I still live?
Yeah.
I thought, do I still, am I
I'm
still
live.
live?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh,
Everything good? Great.
Still going.
All right, we're still going. Okay, so back at it. Great job. Let's give John a round of applause. Our new tripod right here.
It's going the
John
wrong direction.
tripod, Frida's right there.
Wrong direction.
way?
No,
That's-
no. Flip it. Flip it.
Sorry, guys.
You're doing the crowd. You're not doing
We'll
it.
hire a professional photographer
There you
down for
go.
next time, okay?
No, there we go.
Are we good now? Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. This is great, isn't it? Yes. This is all. That's why we do live, guys. If this was recorded, this will be edited.
Now you flip
You guys watch Grant Cardone, all these other people watch doing live. It's edited.
Comedy show.
It's a free. I'm on all week, guys. Twice. All right. Try the tacos, by the way. Oh, tacos are gone. All right. So back at it. Why do we fail with achieving those goals, right? We heard all the excuses. It's the children, maybe the wife, right? It's his wife. Turn around. The spouse, right? A lot of it, like we don't have any time, right? Lack of time. Lack of money, right? Right? All these, what all these are? Resources, right? So, look at my notes. But it's not really a matter of the lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. Okay? That's the most important thing, right? Because people like to blame it. I don't have enough time, right? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough education, right? What's all the excuses that we give every day, right? It's all the limiting beliefs that we give ourselves for, right? So like I said, it's not a matter of the resource, it's your resourcefulness, right? As a realtor, I'll talk ties in as a real estate agent. You know, I didn't have anybody helping me out. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. So, you know, I'm actually a stay-at-home dad, okay, guys? When I first got into real estate, this is a true story. I don't tell anybody this, but I'll tell you guys now because I want you guys to understand anybody can make this happen, right? When I first got into real estate, you know, after being a stay-at-home dad for a couple of years, trying to figure that out, so I realized, you know, that's probably not my direction I'm going to do. You know, I do need to earn income. I got into real estate, and I was broke, right? Broke. What that means is when I had a car, the engine blew out, just like this tripod, right? And when did that happen as a real estate agent? Without a car. That makes it tough, doesn't it, to show people around, right? So what did I do? Of course, what I did is I did a pity party. Lack of resource, right? No car, right? But what I realized is not a lack of resource. You got to be more resourceful, right? You know, you can either find solutions or you can make excuses, right? So what I did is I borrowed a car from one of my realtor friends. Said, hey, I can't afford to pay you right now, but hey, when I close the deal next month, I'll pay you. Done, right? Of course, I checked it out, make sure she had more than one car, so that was the key, right? So that's very important, guys, because we like to blame our situation, right? Because of lack of resource. We hear that all the time, right? Everybody's making excuses for their failures and not achieving these goals. We're not on yet, right? Okay. So now let me go ahead and break it down because right now the reason we succeed is based on our decisions, right? Right? Based on our decisions and our actions. Okay? Anybody knows Tony Robbins?
Yes.
Tony, have you ever heard of that guy, Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard one of his speech. He talked about the 6 basic needs, right? So it's really important that we understand these 6 basic needs, right? Because if you understand these 6 basic needs that we all need in life, it'll make everything easier for you guys, okay? The first one, certainty, right? Basic needs, certainty. What does that mean? We want everything, we want it to be certain. We want to know what's going to happen, right? We watch reruns because we know what's going to happen, right? Isn't that true? We want certainty. You know, like, oh, what's going on there? You want everything to be, you know, set up for you. And we don't like uncertainty sometimes, right? So you like those things that are certain. Oh, he's, you know, maybe when you're looking for a spouse, you're like, oh, he's a safe bet. He's got a great job, right? He's successful. He's in the military. He's going to get some benefits, right? Certain, right? Maybe when you're looking at a joining office in a real estate office, so you want certainty. Oh, that company's been around for 50 plus years. There's certainty that they'll probably be around next year, as opposed to joining a broker that just got his broker's license and starting his own business, right? So people want certainty. Same thing when we're as a business owner, when we're hiring employees. We're looking for certainty when we're